Emma was a dreamer. Ever since she was little, she had wanted to create something beautiful, something that would last forever. She loved painting, but she never finished one. In her small apartment, a white canvas stood by the window. It had been there for months. Every morning, Emma looked at it and said, "Today, I'll start." But every night, she whispered, "Not yet. It's not the right time." She waited for the perfect idea, the perfect light, the perfect moment. But perfection never came. One rainy evening, she sat in front of the empty canvas again. The sound of rain filled the room. She mixed her colors, her hands shaking slightly. "I have to make this one perfect," she thought. Hours passed. She painted, erased, painted again. The sky was too dark. The face was too soft. The shadows were wrong. Frustrated, she dropped her brush. Tears touched the corners of her eyes. Her old friend Jake knocked on the door. He looked at the half-finished painting and said gently, "Emma, this is beautiful." She shook her head. "No, it's not perfect." Jake smiled. Maybe perfect is just another way to say never finished. Emma looked at the painting again. It was messy. The colors didn't blend right, but it was alive, full of her mistakes, her effort, her heart. That night, she signed her name at the bottom. For the first time, she finished something. And when the morning light hit the canvas, she realized something simple. Art doesn't live in perfection. It lives in courage. In old Japan, there was a young student named Haru. He lived in a quiet town near the sea, but his mind never felt quiet. Every morning, he woke up with many thoughts about the past, mistakes he made, words he wished he had not said. And every night, he worried about the future, about work, about life, about things that had not even happened yet. Haru felt tired, lost, and heavy inside. One day, an old traveler visited his town. The man spoke about a wise monk who lived far away in the mountains, a teacher named Master Kuro. People said the master understood the mind like a river. He knew how thoughts came and how they went. Haru felt a small hope in his heart. Maybe this master could help him. The next morning, Haru packed a little food and water and began his journey. He walked for hours through rice fields, crossed a long wooden bridge, and climbed a narrow path between tall pine trees. As he went higher, the air became cooler and cleaner. Little by little, the noise in his head softened, but it never fully disappeared. After a long day of walking, Haru reached a small wooden house with a stone garden in front. A single candle burned near the door. Master Kuro, an old man with calm eyes, stepped outside. "Welcome, traveler," the master said. Why have you come so far?" Haru bowed deeply. "Master, my mind is full of thoughts that hurt me. They follow me everywhere. I want peace, but I don't know how to find it." Master Kuro listened without speaking. Then he handed Haru a long bamboo stick and said, "Come with me." They walked to a bamboo grove behind the house. The grove was beautiful and silent, except for the soft sound of leaves moving in the wind. The sunlight gently touched the ground, creating small golden spots. "Your task is simple," Master Kuro said. "Stand still. Hold this bamboo. Breathe and listen." Haru tried to do as the master said, but his thoughts attacked him immediately. What if this doesn't work? What if I never find peace? What about my future? What about my past? The thoughts came like waves, one after another. Minutes passed. Haru felt frustrated, but then, as he breathed slowly, he heard something new. The sound of bamboo knocking together. Talk, talk, talk. Then the whisper of leaves. Shh. It was soft, simple, and gentle. Haru focused on the sound. The wind moved, the bamboo swayed, the leaves danced. Slowly, his thoughts became lighter. The noise in his mind started to fade. For the first time, he felt connected to the moment. The only moment that truly existed. Master Kuro stepped beside him and said quietly, "Do you hear it? This is the present moment. When you listen, your thoughts lose their power. The past is gone. The future is not here. There is only this breath, this sound, this step." Haru kept listening. His shoulders relaxed. His heart felt soft and open. It was as if the bamboo wind carried his worries away. After a long time, the master spoke again. "Peace is not something you find far away," he said. "Peace appears when you stop traveling in your mind." Haru looked at the bamboo stick in his hands and smiled. The world felt lighter, and so did he. He knew he still had much to learn, but he also knew something important. Whenever he felt lost, he could return to the sound of the bamboo, the sound of the present moment. And that was the beginning of his true journey toward inner calm. Before we dive into the final story, take a moment to subscribe and support the channel. It helps me bring you even more stories you'll enjoy.
New York never waits for anyone. The lights of Times Square never turn off, even at midnight. The subway trains move day and night like the living veins of the city. And the skyscrapers of Manhattan remind people every day that the city is built with dreams, but also with patience. For Ethan Moore, New York was not just a city. It was a cruel mirror. Every time he walked past the shop windows of Fifth Avenue, he saw his own face in the glass, a fat boy with weak shoulders and tired eyes. He sat on the benches in Central Park, and watched runners who passed him lightly and fast, while he, with short breaths, could only walk at night in a small apartment in Brooklyn Heights, with the blue light of his phone on his face. He watched videos with tempting titles. Lose 5 kilos in 1 week. Change your body overnight. Every time, he started with hope. In the mornings, he walked to the Brooklyn Bridge, thinking that his new life would start that very day. But a few days later, tiredness, hunger, and disappointment, and quitting again. Not because he was lazy, but because he was tired of false promises. One autumn evening, he sat by a small lake in Central Park. Yellow leaves were floating on the water. A man sat next to him with an old coat and gray hair. His name was Mr. Harris. After a moment of silence, he said, "New York does not reward hurry. It rewards repetition." Ethan sighed. "I just want to succeed one time, fast." Harris pointed to the towers of Manhattan and said, "Do you think these buildings were built overnight? 1 brick every day. That's all." That night, Ethan decided to stop being a hero and chose to continue. Day 1. Only 10 minutes of walking. No hard exercise. No strange diet. Day 2. Again, 10 minutes. The next week, instead of the elevator, the subway stairs. Coffee without sugar. No soda. Half a pizza. The change was slow, but real. And for the first time, Ethan did not feel like a failure, because this time he did not expect a miracle. 6 months later, on a cold winter morning, he was running on the Brooklyn Bridge, not with a perfect body, but with a strong mind. He saw his reflection in the glass of Manhattan. A boy who was not perfect yet, but was no longer a prisoner. He sat in Central Park, on the same bench. Mr. Harris was not there, but on the bench, a sentence was written. You do not change overnight. You change by continuing every day. Ethan smiled. He no longer thought about the number on the scale. He only thought about the next step. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe so you don't miss the next ones. These stories help you grow your English skills and your mind. Subscribe and join us to make progress step by step. Stay tuned for more stories.